All right, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another fantastic episode of This Week in Reselling. And this week's guest, guys, is none other than Cary, American Arbitrage. Nice to see you, Cary.
Good
Thank
to
you
see
so
you
much
too,
for
Ray. How are
coming
you doing,
on.
man?
Good. Cary, how did the name American Arbitrage come about?
That's a good question. When I first started everything, I was the card life because I like sports cards so much, man. And I was going to do mostly reselling content, but with like a sports card, tilt or whatever. And I didn't like it. Neither did my girlfriend. And we were driving. We were actually down in Vegas. We were coming back home, and she just came up with it. I talked to her a lot about arbitrage, and then the alliteration, American Arbitrage. The second she said it, I knew it. The second she said American Arbitrage, I'm like, done. That's it. So that was she came up with it. Dawn did.
Dawn. Shout out to Dawn.
Yeah.
Shout out to
She
Dawn.
might be watching. She's still not big on YouTube. I try to get her to watch.
She's lurking.
Though.
She's
sometimes
lurking.
I'm surprised she's like watching my YouTube sometimes. I'm like, really? She doesn't like YouTube much. So
really, how does Dawn consume media?
Just TikTok. Like, yeah, TikTok.
Really?
Dude.
She's a big
and Instagram
TikTok.
A little bit, but TikTok,
okay.
like, I'm constantly every night or every morning when I see her, or when she gets off work, it's like there's usually like 5 or 10 TikToks that she has, liked and saved for me to check out.
That's how I am too. I tell my wife, I'm like, hey, look at this funny TikTok that I saw, and she's like rolls her eyes at me because she thinks it's stupid.
It's a slippery slope once you get into TikTok, man.
Oh,
you can waste a lot of time.
For sure. But Cary, I wanted to ask you, and guys, if you don't know Cary by now, all of his links, there's his link tree is down in the description below. I know that you have a podcast with Dawn.
Yes.
Is that still going on,
that's
or
still
is
going
that
on? We've just been lazy with it, honestly. Well, it's just we don't have a lot of free time, and then when we do have free time, we're like at a movie or something, so we just haven't done it. We need to. We're planning on it. Hopefully, I always say next week, but I don't know when, but hopefully in the next couple weeks we'll get one out.
Okay, nice. I know I saw today or yesterday that you went to go see the movie Dune.
Yes, dude. Amazing. I loved it.
I'm halfway. I guess I'm a quarter way through it. I'm watching it here at the house because I have HBO Max.
Oh yeah.
And it's on there. But I'm like, man, I think I need to watch this in the movie theater because it's got that big feel. You know what I mean? I'm like, I think I might have to go to the movies to actually see it.
With the cinematography, that's one of the rare ones, Maybe Fast and the Furious 2 and the D-Box, the moving seats. I did that once and got sick. Watching Fast. Those are wild, but no, it's worth it, dude. It's like, I think that's the best part of that is the cinematography is amazing. Just the camera work and everything.
Nice. I know I'm a big fan of Hans Zimmer. He did the score.
Oh yeah, the
for the movie.
Amazing.
So I'm just like, oh man, I gotta go. I gotta get the whole experience.
They made it super. I mean, I grew up on the 80s one, which was confusing as hell.
Oh, dude, I rewatched it just recently, and I'm just like, I have no idea I knew the story. I haven't read the novels, but I'm like, they try to condense the whole story into one movie, and I'm just like, I feel like they missed a lot of it.
It was smart splitting it into two. I think it made it really I don't know, I really enjoyed it. It's the same story that's told on almost every big time movie, some unsuspecting person that's going to basically have to save the world. It's just another one of those stories when
the heroes, what do they call them? The hero's story?
Yeah, the hero story.
The hero's journey. Yeah. Something like
that.
Beowulf,
it's a tale as old as time. So
yeah,
it's well done.
Awesome. Well, I think I'm definitely gonna have to go to the movies and watch it. But
it's worth it, man.
Cary, so real quick, I know that you're a lot of, I would say, I know that you probably hear this a lot before, but you're the reason a lot of resellers got into reselling. I keep hearing this.
Hard to believe.
Like I have the people on here on the podcast, and they're like, I saw Cary's videos and wanted, jump on and start this, during the pandemic and all that, but for you, Cary, like, how did it start for you? Like, tell me the origin story. How did Cary become this like massive reselling giant that you are today?
Wow. I'm definitely not reselling. I mean, I'm probably more of a content creator than I am a massive reseller. There's definitely some people out there that sell a lot more than me, but I love what I do. I started 10 years ago, March of 2011, graduated from college. I didn't do what I was supposed to do. I have 3 degrees. political science, history, and Spanish. And I realized pretty quickly after I graduated that I needed to go back and probably get my master's and stuff to really be a professor, which is what I wanted to do. So I was, for the first couple years of reselling, I was planning on going back and doing that. But in the meantime, I started reselling. I had lost my job at that time too, 2011. I just randomly, I was living at my mom's house. She brought me one of my little sister's sealed Pokemon games, which is worth a lot now, but wasn't worth nearly that much then. It was sealed. It was like, wow, gosh, it was 98. I forgot which one it was, Pearl, or it was some late 90s one. Put it on a dollar auction because I had no idea what I was doing, and sold for like 70. It's probably worth like 1,500 ungraded now. It's ridiculous. Yeah. At least the market was like that for a while.
It still is.
I caught the bug, man, and that was the height of, Pawn Stars, Storage Wars, American Pickers. I started going to yard sales with my mom and my dad, and pretty quickly I realized I wasn't going to go back to school, and if I was going to do it with, with all the time and money I spent into school, I thought, I got to get a store, so I got a store pretty quickly. Started live auctions. I did a ton. I've done so many random things. People probably think I'm full of it most of the time when I say it, but
what are some of the give me some examples of some of the random things that you've done before?
I mean, I got my first store when I was 27. I'm 37 now, almost 38, or it might've been 28, but it was within like that first year of me reselling. And I wanted to do an auction, and I did the research here in Utah. You don't need to have a license. I have 3 degrees, so I would have got a license. I don't really care, but you didn't have to get a license. So I just said, oh, okay, I'm an auctioneer. I have theater training. I could do it. So I literally just went to, we didn't have enough space in my little shop to do an auction at all. So we used that as a drop-off spot for people to bring stuff to go in an auction. And I went one day, me and my mom, I think we went to like a couple places. It was like the second or third place I went to. It was a little Mexican place called Banditos. And I'm like, we want to do a live auction. You have a little, little space here. And, we'll bring in probably, 20, 30 people on a slow night, like a Tuesday or Wednesday, and they'll eat. And that's exactly what they did. They came in on a slow night and they ate food at Banditos. And I was able to do my auction there for free. Nice. So I got the space for free. And that's how I met Don. Don was going to the auctions at Banditos.
So, look at there.
It's funny how the world works and life works.
Yeah. Did the Spanish degree help you negotiate anything at Banditos?
Here's the thing with the Spanish, like me speaking Spanish, is the main thing is you want to keep it on the low that you speak Spanish, because you want to hear what people are saying when you're trying to negotiate deals. As far as like dealing with working out a deal with Banditos guy, he spoke perfect English, so we didn't have to. I'm sure I told him at some point I spoke Spanish, but yeah, no, it was he's a great dude. He really helped me at the start of my business a lot.
That's awesome. I know that I've gone to several auctions, and it's a whole nother world, man. There's so much to learn, like terms that, the first time I went, I was like, wait, buyer's choice, like what is that? It's like, what is this auctioneer's fee at the end? I'm just like, oh man, I didn't consider that into the price. There's a really like a lot to go into when you go to auctions and actually purchase stuff, especially if you're doing to resell, because if you're not careful, you can lose a lot of money really quick.
I have 1,000 stories, man. I probably should do auction stories at some point on TikTok. When I first started, I was still doing live auctions in this building right before the pandemic, but I was thinking about doing TikToks on them, but I didn't really have a following back then. If I ever go out and do live auctions again, I definitely need to film it and everything, but there's so many stories. I have so many funny stories with, the people and the interactions with them, and I'm a pretty nice guy, but I don't really deal with any BS. So I'll shut down stuff pretty quick, but
there's no time
in a nice way.
Yeah. There's no time. Yeah. There's a whole, I got
people. Resellers and we're all great, but everybody's trying to get a deal. So, everybody's coming from a good place, but you sometimes have to say, we're not.
Yeah. It's like, come on, man. It's like, I know where you're coming from. You like meet me in the middle here,
Exactly.
So that's great, Cary. So you started 11 years ago. What were you doing on your full-time job before you decided to go full-time reselling?
Just like most elder millennials, I was just going from job to job. I didn't really care at that time. I was in college and my focus was on college. So sometimes I wasn't working. I was working at In-N-Out though.
Nice.
I got fired, dude, from In-N-Out.
That's crazy. What was the reason?
So I'll tell you the story. It's not really that embarrassing if people know me. I was just everybody liked me. I did well, but I was late to a meeting and they fired me. I thought the meeting this is funny because I was a little bit late to this because I was wrong on the time. The meeting was at like 9 a.m. and I thought, or 8 a.m. and I thought it was at 9 a.m. And In-N-Out is notorious for being a punctual culture. So I was like 45, 50 minutes late for a hour-long meeting. And I thought I was 10, 15 minutes early coming in, like, I'm on time, guys. You knew I could do it, kind of thing. And they're all looking at me strange. I'm like, what's going on? They're already talking. They must be like hyping everybody up. And then afterwards, I realized, dude, you're like, came in. Everybody thought I was doing like some grand gesture, and I was just, I just brain farted.
Oh, that's crazy. I guess they fired you to set an example. It sounds like.
Oh, they had to. They had to.
You
I remember after that, I got a message from the managers like, God, don't worry about it, man. You're going to do great. We're not, no hard feelings. I love you, dude. You're great. Well, I got a really positive message from it. Is basically like, I was one of the older guys at that point in my late 20s. They're like, we have to be careful with that kind of stuff. Culture stuff.
Yeah. So real quick, we have a lot of people in the chat, so we want to make sure we say hi to them, Cary. And guys, anybody in the chat that has a question for Cary, now is the opportunity to ask him, because he doesn't do these a lot. I know that he has, could you tell us about your new podcast that you're doing with NC Picker?
Yeah, dude, we just started last week. We have our own new channel and everything. It's the Trash to Cash podcast. Awesome. And we're just going to be winging it, goofing off I usually I love the podcast because I can just goof off, and Dave's really particular. Like Dave will keep me on track. And I just like to kind of goof off and tell stories and stuff, but it's a lot of fun. It's just about the stuff we find, the trash, the random stuff that people discard, and what we sell it for. And if you're interested, you can do it too, whether it's part-time or full-time.
For sure. Yeah, that's funny. I guess you're kind of like the color commentator on an NFL broadcast.
That's right? How I look at it, man.
Yeah.
I just want to have, because, with TikToks, I'm usually fairly serious with them because it's like, a kind of a business at this point for me. So
I can see that for sure.
It gives me a chance to just chill because I'm typically a pretty laid back person. So
that I can tell that shows. It comes through, Cary.
Good. I'm glad, man. Right on.
Yeah, man. Cali Reseller Louise says, hi, Ray and Cary. Good to see you, Cali Reseller. My sister-in-law wants to know, Courtney White, she says, we want to know the funniest story, Cary. I guess she's talking about the auction stories that you may have.
Yeah, let me think of the funniest story. Gosh, there's so many of them. The first ones that come to mind are like people trying to, is that funny? I once had a guy, so my last auction I ever did, I decided at my old store. We ended up doing it later at my new store, but long story short, we left our restaurant space and I got a 2-story building and started doing the auctions in-house. And the last one that we did in-house before we moved to a new place, and we're planning on just focusing on the store, we had an ATV for auction. So this ATV was nice. We had really worked hard to try to get these, relationships where people would trust us with that kind of stuff. But at that point, I was worried. So I actually started it a little higher than maybe I should have. People got mad. Somebody took the keys out and threw them. So we couldn't find the keys afterwards. I don't remember what we ended up doing.
What a jerk.
Yeah, total jerk. It was a regular too. We knew who it was. I don't know if that's funny, but we had a lot of just that kind of stuff. People coming in trying to steal coins, before the auction and stuff.
Oh man.
Just a lot of stuff like that. But overall, people were pretty cool. My thing went up. So there's a long story with my auction history. I had my own auction, and then I moved into this building about 3 years ago, and I just took a couple rooms from my buddy, and he had an auction. And part of our deal for me coming here, because there's a lot of stories, but my old building tripled in rent. So we wanted to get out of there. So short notice, we just went up the street to my buddy's. And I'm like, give us a good deal here, like really cheap rent, and I'll do your auction and just charge you 10% of whatever you make. And you don't have to have this auctioneer come in and charge you all this money. So, I had a following and everything. So I started doing his auction. And at that point, I wasn't setting up the auction like I used to. I wasn't doing all the work that I used to. I just come in as a hired gun, and I wasn't setting up the auction. So I would make fun of the stuff that was going up for auction all the time. Maybe as a subtle way to let them know, like, put something better together if we're going to auction it off, because I'm not a miracle worker. I can't make this sell. So I would just be like, here's a box of crap. Here's a box of junk. We just got this out of, I'd just be messing with people. And I'd get bids that way sometimes because people were just like, okay, this is stupid. I'm just going to bid. So yeah, I used to goof off a lot in the auction, but I don't know of any particular story, but there's a lot of weird stories and people getting pissed off at me stories for sure.
Yeah, maybe that could be a whole podcast episode on trash to cash one day.
It should,
People
man.
would-
We should talk about that. I mean,
yeah,
I
people
have a
would
lot
love
more
to hear that.
experience, and I mean, I've been going to auctions forever. I have actually stopped the last couple of years. Don doesn't like them as much as I do. Probably because, you know, maybe I can't control what I bid. You know, I just go too crazy sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about winning and you get competitive, and yeah, it's a whole different vibe. We have someone new to the channel. He says, hi guys, new here, looking forward to the show. Thank you so much. And this might be the best reseller name out here. Flippy McFlipperson.
It's great, right to the point. I know what you do.
Exactly. That's so good. But all right, Kerry. So let's get into one of the people's favorite segments on the show. As you know, overrated, underrated.
Let's do it.
Give you 10 different things, and you tell us, in your opinion, if it's overrated, underrated. But before we do that, Kerry, I don't know if you collect Funko Pops, but we want to give out a huge shout out to our sponsor of the podcast. They're local here in Nashville, poppingofftoys.com. And if you use the code Nashville Flippers, you can actually get 10% off everything on the website. And they got the new stuff. These NFL vinyls just dropped today, and they already have them. There's chase versions of. They don't have any Las Vegas Raiders ones yet.
Oh man,
Kerry,
those are pretty cool though. They aren't regular Funko. They're like a different style.
These just dropped. You know, they have chase versions, which the chase versions is just, I guess, the alternate uniform of the player, which I think, you know, it could be a little better than that. And they just got the new Squid Game Funkos.
Yes, I was seeing the Squid Game one, the whatever the guard guys that wear those weird masks. I saw that.
So that's pretty cool. So guys, if you want to order any Funko Pops for your friends, your family, Christmas is coming up, go to poppingofftoys.com, use the code Nashville Flippers, and you'll get 10% off. And the cool thing about Poppin' Off Toys is they're collectors themselves, Cary, and they guarantee that every Funko comes mint to your door. Because I don't know if you've ever had any issues shipping Funkos to people. Man, it's a struggle. Because everyone wants those Funkos to be in pristine condition.
Well, that's awesome. They'll make sure it gets there safe.
Exactly. So first one up on overrated, underrated, Cary, when you give us your opinion and why. Chipotle, overrated or underrated?
Overrated. I do like Chipotle. It's okay. I feel like it's not super well seasoned. Like it comes off as bland to me a lot. And I love hot sauce, and they don't have anything too crazy. They never have any habanero stuff, which I love anything with habanero. So that's my jam. There's a place here in Utah. It's called Barbacoas. I think they're only in Salt Lake now. They used to be up here in northern Utah. It's the same deal. Just love it much better. I don't know, the flavorings a little better.
Same kind of vibe, you know.
Same vibe. I mean, they probably copied Chipotle.
Okay, nice. Okay, but it's okay, nice. Let's say hi to some people in the chat that just came on. We have what's that? Seethan says hello. Nana Treasure says hello. We have a friend to the channel, Jess with Gorgeous Boutique. She says hello. We actually had her on the show not too long ago. So if you guys want to see that, check that interview out. So next one up, Cary, overrated, underrated, Cary.
Underrated. I'd say a little bit underrated. You know, it's just like eBay. If you put in the work on Cary, which I'm so wildly inconsistent on Cary, but when I put in work, sales come. I think it's a little bit underrated. I think, you know, in this day, I'm so thankful we have places like Cary, Facebook Marketplace with shipping now, and all these other options. I remember when I started and it was just eBay. Well, I mean, there was Amazon and Bonanza and other places, but I mean, eBay really was the big dog for used stuff that wasn't new or, you know, FBA or whatever. And now I feel like if, you know, I used to worry, like, what if something happened to eBay? Then my whole business is over. And now it's not even close. There's so many options, and eBay could go away tomorrow. I don't want it to because it's still pretty good. But yeah, Mercari's awesome. I think if you're not trying Cary, you should. Okay,
that's good. That's good. All right. So next one up, Cary, overrated, underrated, Fortnite.
I'd say overrated.
Okay.
I mean, I get the vibe. I get why people like it. And I love first person shooter games. I just can't get into it. I was into Apex Legends a little bit, which is kind of a clone with the battle royale. But I mean, if I'm going to go first person shooter, I'm going Battlefield all day. Bad
All
Company
day.
2. I used to play that all night, every night, man, back in the day.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I love that
I remember that game. Yeah. What's
I wish I had time, dude. I just don't have. I mean, I have time for a little 2K and Madden, and that's about it.
Yeah, for sure. What is it? Gorgeous says, "What's Fortnite?"
There you go.
Yeah. Nana says, "I have done Mercari. They're a good and agree. Got to keep it up. We'll stay active." Yeah, for sure. Luis has a question. He says, "Kerry, what's your take on selling live on TikTok?"
That's a good question.
Are people doing that?
Yeah, people are doing that. The reason why I don't, and I probably could do okay with it, is it's just it's too messy. It's too sloppy. Like trying to keep track. I'm already a little bit of a scatterbrained person, you know, so trying to keep track of everything, I would really struggle with that. Getting your payments is going to be a pain.
Yeah, that sounds like it's a lot of work.
And and I'm sure you've heard, I've been doing Whatnot a lot, which is basically live TikToks, but they have the bid on the screen and the payment comes immediately. I don't do any of that back end work. They send me a label like Mercari and I ship it out. So it's much simpler.
I need to check out Whatnot. I keep seeing all the people that I follow with like Pokemon cards. You know, they're all doing Whatnot. So I'm like, man, I gotta check that out. I have no clue what it is.
It's awesome, dude. I mean, I sell on it, but also I've been buying and I'm getting some deals, stuff I'm going to flip on eBay. And I've really enjoyed it. I think it's going to be, whether I hope Whatnot stays around, but like, I think the idea that they have, just like TikTok, if anything ever happened to TikTok, the short form, learning how to do short form videos, that's here to stay, wherever it is. And the same thing with Whatnot, the live auction with the bids and the instant payment. And I'm pretty sure, you know, Whatnot is going to be around. They're a great company. I've loved working with them, but I think that concept's brilliant. It was something I wanted to do for years, and now I have a platform that allows it. And, you know, you can do it on TikTok. It's just a little bit more complicated getting the payments and everything. And
that's interesting.
People are going to flake on you.
I'm going to check that out. What is the, let's say you sell a Funko Pop, it's worth $30. Someone pays $25. What's the, what's the percentage that Whatnot takes?
It's 8% plus the transaction and 30 cents. So 2.9% on the transaction and 30 cents, which is, I think, what they do on like PayPal and stuff. So it's like, it depends. If it's like a $5-6 item, you're losing like $1. So it varies the total percentage.
Okay.
That makes sense.
It varies.
But if it's $25, you're looking at like 22-ish you'll take home.
Okay.
$21.97.
I'm gonna have to do some more research on that because you know, things like vintage clothing will probably sell really well on there. You know, cards, things like that. What items have you sold on Whatnot? I'm curious.
Well, I was brought. They actually contacted me, and I was brought in to do action figures, which was, you know, one of my niches. And the action figures is pretty new, so there is a lot of demand there. I have a meeting tomorrow with the retro video game guy in charge of retro video games, so I'll probably start doing auctions with retro video games. I've done sports cards. Right now, you have to apply to do the live selling, but you can post like a regular item like you could on Mercari or eBay. I'm not sure how good it is yet for that, but the live auctions, they're being really careful with who. But the good thing is you have a following, like you're well over 100K on TikTok and everything, and you do Funko and you do Pokemon. I'm pretty sure you could apply and probably get in and be able to sell. And as far as buying, there's a lot of deals for flipping.
I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. Yes. So NC Picker says, "Wow, Ray, you gotta get better guests. This Cary guy is a bore." I know.
Dave's the worst. I think we can all agree. Dave, just egomaniac and really doesn't know what he's talking about most of the time.
That guy. Dustin from Bold North Flips, he says, "Love Cary. I started out there. More millennial buyers flock there." Interesting.
That's true.
I guess I'm an older millennial too, Cary, so I know exactly what you're.
We're like elder millennial here. So I'm doing it all, but it's definitely, I'm still eBay, which is weird. I probably should be more Cary.
Nana Treasure says, some are saying TikTok is going to go above YouTube. I guess this is the reason for YouTube Shorts. I don't think it's going to take over. I think it's like one or the other. You know, it's like complements each other almost.
TikTok is the #1 downloaded app in the App Store on iPhone. But to be fair, if YouTube would be too if it was as new, and it was for probably a good number of years. So YouTube's just a little bit more established. I think TikTok is at the saturation point where it's not going to go anywhere. And I think, like you're building an account there, I'm building an account there. I think it's going to pay off for us for years to come.
Yeah.
It's helped me move to Instagram and YouTube too, and have more success there.
I think YouTube is now starting to push those shorts.
They're doing better, man. The last week, the last week.
It's crazy because I'm starting to, move over everything from TikTok off to YouTube Shorts, and it seems to be gaining some traction, which is, I think it's odd because before
invest in shorts, man. Invest.
Yeah.
I'm doing a couple a day right now because I have the content, might as well.
Exactly.
And I don't have a ton of time for the long form stuff. I want to do it, and I have some videos to edit, but YouTube is like, do I have for me, I'm slow at it. So do I have 3 or 4 hours to really edit this right now?
It's a struggle. I get it for sure. I know Nana Treasures, we just got monetized on YouTube, Cary. Nana Treasures was a big help with that, watching our videos and stuff. So we had the viewers, we just had to get the watch hours. So we're monetized now. So so we're rocking and rolling for sure.
So there is one thing with that. You're monetized. Congrats, first off, dude.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
There is a shorts fund, much like there's a TikTok creators fund now. So apart from your monetization that you're going to be getting for your regular videos, you can get a part of that shorts fund, which is anywhere from $100 to $10,000 a month, depending on how many views you get. And if they select you, I haven't been selected yet. So I don't really have any big YouTube shorts. I think my biggest one's like 16,000. But if you just make sure if you are putting stuff on shorts, don't have the watermark. So edit your stuff off. Yeah. That will disqualify you from the short fund.
What is a good way to remove the watermark off of the videos from TikTok?
It's once it's done, it's kind of done. That's kind of the problem. But I would be filming your stuff. I did it straight on TikTok for like over a year, but now I film everything on InShot, which is just a phone app. And then it's just, I have the video. I do all my editing with the words, pop-ups, and everything, and then I post it on TikTok, Instagram, now YouTube Shorts. Occasionally, when I remember, I put it on Pinterest because they have their own competitor, and Snapchat's paying people too. So,
nice.
Snapchat's tougher though.
The app is called InShot.
InShot, INSHOT. It's awesome. It's simple. I think I might have paid $4 to get like the premium, and it's worth it.
Is that okay? So it's what's the cost on that for the premium?
I think it was like $4 or $5. If not, they're going to have the InShot thing. So it's with what you're doing, and you do a pretty high amount of TikToks and shorts, it's worth it really for anybody who wants to take it serious.
Nice.
And it's just like a one-time fee, I believe. It's not like a monthly thing.
Nice. I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. Nana Treasure just gave us our first super chat. Thank you so much, Nana. That's awesome. The first $5. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's awesome. Congrats, dude.
We're gonna go buy a Red Bull and Black and Mild or something, right? No,
there you go, bro. There you go.
Old school. Jess was saying that I used the preview button on TikTok and screen record. Okay. I might have to do
that's
video.
A good idea. I think it will. It'll keep your sound too, so that might work as well.
Okay, and then Bull North Flip says crop the video to remove the watermark. Okay,
that's another thing you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is,
oh, sorry. Go ahead, dude.
No, go ahead.
With TikTok, the TikTok symbol is popping around like it's The Office.
They're smart, man.
So, but Instagram, if you're filming natively to Instagram, it's just going to stay in the corner. So you can crop it out on Instagram. But if you're using your TikTok on Instagram, that TikTok's going to be popping around. It's annoying, but it's worth just filming it all getting used to it, to film it all on one app, and then you could just put it wherever you want after that.
Yeah, I know that I have my editing software on the computer where I edit everything for YouTube, and I can like move the video over and do it that way. But
if you're good at that, I mean, NC
it's a lot of work.
Dave, he's all over. Like, I don't know what he has, Final Shot 87 or something, and he's doing all that stuff. Crazy. Using, I don't know, he's just like having spinning heads in the background. He does all these wild things that I don't know how to do.
Explosions in the background.
Explosions. I swear I was watching one of his videos and he just popped up like his face at the end. I'm like, dude, that wasn't necessary. Nobody needed to see that, dude.
That's hilarious.
It was pretty funny, honestly.
All right. So, Kerry, overrated, underrated flea markets.
Oh, underrated, dude. Flea markets are like primo. I'm not sure how it is in Is Tennessee Midwest or are you East Coast? I'm not sure.
It's southeast, like
South. Oh
southeastern.
yeah, South.
So I'm in Nashville. So we went to the Nashville flea market yesterday, and I forgot why I don't go there, because everything is like, you got all these yuppity people going, finding things for their new home. You know, it's a different vibe. Like, I got to go to like a grimy flea market. Like the Nashville flea market is like,
There's
they
a
got
couple different
really nice
styles
stuff
for sure.
there.
There's like in Utah, and I'm imagining it's similar here, like in Nashville. There's like the upscale kind of like the vintage flea markets where everybody's asking higher prices. So I
Exactly.
think it's probably like that. There's also a lot of times, like there's the one in Salt Lake. There's a lot of stuff, just Alibaba stuff that was brought in. And it's just, it's great deals if you need socks and stuff, but not really for flipping stuff. But for whatever reason, our flea market right here is kind of frozen in time. I don't think it's going to last much longer, but it's just a lot of people bringing yard sale stuff, or stuff that they're picking at the DI and Savers and bringing it out. So I've been lucky to be able, and it's like 5 minutes away from my shop too. So if you find the right one and you make the connections and you make friendships with people, you will have more stuff than you can deal with.
Nice, good call. All right, it's next one up. Overrated, underrated. Cary, Elon Musk.
Ooh. I'd say overrated. I don't know. I don't know if
he might be a robot, Cary. He might be a robot.
It's true. I might get assassinated at any point now. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think, like, as a person, I don't really care one way or another. Tesla's making a lot of innovations, and I don't know to what degree he's responsible for them. He might just be the visionary behind it, or one of the visionaries. I'm sure there's a lot of people in there not getting credit for some of this stuff. So I don't know. I'm not like, I kind of want a Tesla, but not really. I don't know. And I don't know if maybe he's under, I don't know. That's a tough one, dude, but I'm going to say he's overrated. It's just my gut.
I agree. I know that once the car manufacturers convince us that we don't need a gas powered car and move on to electric, like the new F-150 just got announced by Ford, and that thing looks awesome. So yeah. All right. So next one up, Cary, overrated, underrated, promoted listings on eBay.
I was like, I have a video of me like saying not to do it, and I was wrong, man. They're underrated. They're key nowadays. And realistically, I'm a big believer in moving your items as quickly as you can. I agree. There's definitely a couple things, like, I don't know if that's a vintage Titan hat you have on there.
It's a remake.
It's a remake. That's dope.
Yeah, dude. They just made it like the old Pro Line ones.
Dude, I know.
Yeah, but this is the
new. If that was a vintage one, that's one where maybe I wouldn't be worried about moving it fast. I'll just put it at what it's worth and let it sit. But in most cases, most of the stuff we're finding, contrary to what you see on videos all the time, is just, and I think I do that in my videos on TikTok. I just show you what I find. Like, sometimes it's not great, sometimes it's pretty cool. But for the most part, it's just stuff I want to sell. I posted a bunch of basketball cards yesterday. I noticed somebody sent me an offer on like 5 or 6. I was just taking his offers. Some of them were like half the price I wanted, but I'm like, he's going to buy several items. He'll come back and buy more. I just want to churn and burn, and promoted listing gets your item out there. And I don't mind spending that 5, 10%, 8%, 6%, whatever the trending rate is, to get my items out there to sell faster. None of us are making money unless we're selling. So, and sometimes, just having that churning through, you're going to get those higher dollar sales and those offer buys and everything. And, you're just going to have things moving.
Yeah. I guess it's the fast nickel motto.
Yeah,
right?
I'm fast nickel all day.
Yeah. What percentage do you do the promoted listings? Do you do
every
like 1%?
Single thing almost. I think at this point, it's every new thing I post is promoted. I mean, I'm not, some people are very, and I mean, I'm analytical in ways, but some people are very analytical in weighing, should I or should I not? I just do it. There's an occasional thing where I'm like, okay, this is going to sell no matter what. Why bother?
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'm just putting it on. Because the cool thing about it is you're only paying the fee if it works. If it doesn't work, you're not paying that fee. If it gets sold without using the promoted listing, I guess we're trusting eBay on this. But if it sells without the promoted listing, we're not paying a fee. And if it helps, we pay a fee.
What about the new pay-per-click?
Oh, I think we should stay away from that as long as humanly. I don't think we're going to be able to for long, because I think people are going to use it. But the only way we can deny that kind of progress is by not using it, because I think that paying for having somebody to view your item, I don't know. I don't think it's a slippery slope as far as eBay making money off every one of our items. And you know, they should make money. And honestly, I'm one of the few people who will tell you that eBay undercharges on a lot. I think they should be charging more for a percentage of what they're charging, you know, 12 to 15% total. When I was an auctioneer, you know, doing my auctions, I was 25 to 30%.
Gosh, yeah.
Yeah, and when I was when I had people back when I was taking consignments and stuff, it was 50-50 after fees because I was doing all the work.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
10 to 15%, I don't think is anything to. I think it's a good deal. But once they start bringing in the pay per click, then that's 20% per, and then once we get over like 25%, that's where I'm like, I don't know if it's worth it. But you know, with all the competition now, you can go out and try other places, but they're charging what's Mercari, 10% or something, 12.
10.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. We got this guy on here. He says, hey, who is this guy? Does he resell?
Yeah. What is it? Colte's Comics. Nice to meet you, sir.
Colte's Comics. Oh, Colte's Comics. I don't know.
You're doing well, man. I haven't talked to you in a while.
What's the score? I don't even know what the score is on the game right now. I know they're playing the 49ers, I believe. Hopefully they lose because they're in the same division as the Titans, so we want them to not do well. But next one up.
Henry has won me a few fantasy games so far this season. So
he was under 100 yards today, but we put the whooping on Kansas City, and that's probably good for the Raiders, right?
True, it's true, man. My whole team's on bye this week. I got this guy out of Cleveland, DeAnthony something. Like I'd never heard of him until this week, and I saw some good things, and he got me like 25 points.
He's killing it. Yeah,
so I'm like, sweet.
Yeah, he's killing it for sure. Let's see here. Next one up. Overrated, underrated, Cary, The Undertaker. WWE superstar,
That's
The
great.
Undertaker.
That's a great one. I'm gonna go. He's underrated. He's an icon, dude. He's one of the best wrestlers of all time. The fact, and I guess everybody's doing this nowadays. Like they have like 25-year careers when they should have like 8-year careers.
Yeah,
because you know but I feel like he was fairly competitive most of that time from what little I watched. But yeah, no, I love The Undertaker, dude. He was around. The golden era for me was like 88 to 93. That's when I was really into it. So
really,
he was just starting when I was. So I remember him, when he just started, and it was a big deal with the pallbearer or whatever, and he was a big deal. So yeah, I think he's great. I want to get more into wrestling. I know you're into it. I haven't spent as much time as I used to.
It's a lot to invest time wise. But I know there's a new promotion in town. AEW means All Elite Wrestling. He owned by Tony Khan, which is the son of Chad Khan, the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I didn't know
and
that.
The Tottenham Hotspurs. So they got a lot of money to spend.
It's needed, honestly. There's so many issues with healthcare and all those things for the wrestlers once they retire and stuff. It's good competition, in my opinion. Is healthy in that field, especially. They need somebody. I don't think they're going to probably ever be as big as WWE, but it'd be good that if somebody doesn't enjoy working with Vince McMahon, they can go elsewhere and still have a career.
A lot of people have done that already, and they say they're so much more happier than they are in WWE.
See, I know most of that from just like they started doing. I think it's Mattel's or Hasbro started doing the AEW action figures. So I mean, they were selling really well. So.
They were doing they were going to do Funko Pops, but WWE said if you do AEW Funko Pops, then we won't do WWE Funko Pops anymore.
Yeah, they're going to probably start doing it. They're ruthless, man.
Yeah.
They're business people for
they're
sure.
Ruthless for sure. So Undertaker underrated. They just had a show in Saudi Arabia. Undertaker got to introduce Pitbull at one of the Pitbull's concerts. Really weird. But
yeah, that's a random. Yeah, Mr. Worldwide and the Undertaker, man.
Exactly. Hey, who would have thought, right?
Right.
So next one up, Cary, overrated, underrated, selling sports cards.
Dude, underrated. It is overrated it's underrated overall, but it's overrated in the sense of how easy people think it is. A lot of times what I've encountered is people just like, I bought I have this collection from my youth, and I'm like, there's nothing you can do but just put in the legwork and the blood, sweat, and tears to go through your cards and see what you have. Otherwise, you're gonna have to give it away to somebody like me that's gonna buy the collection and do that. And I do it out of love. I love going through them. So Yeah, I think they're got to be top 2 or 3 items sold on eBay, I would guess.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
And there's so much demand. I don't care what they say about. There was the big bubble last year where everything was selling like hotcakes. It's just back to where it was before. It was always selling really well. It's always sold really well. Always sold really well. If you have the right player at the right time, if let me see, if Zach LaVine has 50 points for the Chicago Bulls tonight, you can sell his rookie cards at double the price, maybe for 2 hours, and then maybe it'll go back down. So if you're on top of it, it's kind of like, sports betting a little bit, except you can make the money afterwards if you already have the card.
Nice. Good call. All right. Next one up. Cryptocurrency. Overrated or underrated?
Probably underrated. I know everybody's talking about it. I don't do it. So I don't have any, I don't know if you're into it at all, but
not really.
I think it's, it's the future. I think a lot about the fact that I remember learning about Bitcoin about 10 years ago when I started reselling. And I think it was like under $50 at some point, and I couldn't get myself to buy any. And what a fool I was. But I don't know if I was a fool. I didn't know any better.
You didn't know. We don't know. Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know if I'm foolish, because I didn't know that. I would be foolish if I knew it was going to be so expensive and then, so worth so much I didn't buy it. But I think it's going to be a part of the future. It's inevitable. I mean, it is. It's a part of now. I don't, I'm not a big time investor. There's definitely some great Instagram, YouTube, and, reseller people who do that and you can learn a lot from. Utah Bought and Gone, Dana Invest. There's a lot of great people who know what they're doing on that. I'm just definitely not one. I want to get into it. I probably will at some point.
I always make a joke that I'm going to start one called Flip Coin. So if anybody wants to invest, holler at your boy.
That's where the money is, creating the coin, right? And
exactly.
You doing NFTs or anything, man? You could do some Nashville Flippers NFTs.
Yeah. Hey, and I went to school for graphic design. So I'm all about that world. We actually have I don't know if you saw it. We're doing some hats to make them look exactly like the Bass Pro Shop hats.
Yes, I saw them. They're rad. So
those are coming soon. So be prepared for that. It's gonna be cool. So last one up, Cary, overrated, underrated. Luigi.
Dude, underrated for sure. He's just, should he be the sidekick? I don't really feel like he's his brother. So I feel like he's underrated. I never played Luigi's Mansion, but that's a great game. If you can find it on the GameCube, it'll sell really well for you.
Yes.
Underrated, no doubt.
Nice. Did you ever see the movie the Super Mario Brother movies with like John Leguizamo?
Yeah, he was Luigi. I actually had his action figure, the John Leguizamo Luigi, like about 3 weeks ago.
No way.
Yeah.
Did you sell it?
Yeah, I sold it in my Whatnot auction. Yeah, I've been selling a lot of my toys through that. So, yeah, it's actually like, if you find it, it's like a $20-$25 toy.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, I bet that's a really obscure toy to even find.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things, and there's a whole thing about toys like that. To this day, Lannard is a company that isn't Hasbro and Mattel that makes a lot of these properties that are, going to do well in the movies, but aren't really, I don't know, like they do the King Kong stuff. They do the Godzilla stuff. They're big movies, but they're not like Marvel, right?
Yeah.
And Lannard will do the toys for like, King Kong or Rampage and then they go on clearance inevitably on Walmart. People don't really buy them, but then in like a year, all that stuff goes up. Like if you can get the Rampage stuff with The Rock was in it, I think, and then there's the different animals or whatever that were in Rampage.
Yeah,
those figures are like $25 to $50 loose a piece.
Nice. So and you said the company's called Lantern.
Lannard, L-A-N-A-R-D. They also do like the fake GI Joes, the corpse, like the crew or whatever they're called. Yeah. They kind of do like it's not bootleg, but like the cheaper version of that stuff. But they're a good brand to look out for because and people sleep on them. They think most of their stuff's worthless, and you'd be surprised. But that Luigi, coming from what we were talking about, Luigi, it was kind of just like a random thing that was on the shelf for a short time. The movie flopped, if I recall. It's kind of like a cult classic now, maybe, but so the toys, people still, they want Nintendo nerds are going to want those because they're going to get them.
Yeah, exactly. Good call. Well, Cary, that concludes our segment of the show, Overrated, Underrated. Thank you so much for answering those questions. And guys, I know that we usually have a format that we do these interviews but I knew Cary was coming on. So, and Cary's, very seasoned reseller. So I created a new segment on the show called Cary's Tips. So I'm going to give Cary a subject, and Cary's going to give us some tips to be successful in these subjects. So are you ready, Cary?
I'm ready. Born ready.
Let's do it. So finding profitable items at the thrift.
My tips to finding profitable items at the thrift is, you just have to be curious. It's the simplest thing. Be curious about stuff. You're going to have a knowledge base based on your life and what you're interested in. When you go, like when they open, sometimes I'm not usually there when they open. When they open, everybody's storming the collectible case, and they're kind of storming where the video games are in electronics. But there's a lot of areas that people overlook. The toys are a great one. A lot of people, there's more people getting into them, but toys is a great area. So be curious. If you pass something, and I do this all the time, if I pass something and I don't know what it is, but it looks interesting, I'll look it up. Sometimes if it's super cheap and I can't even find anything on it, I'll still buy it because I want to know if it'll sell. I want it because that'll open up a new genre, a new category for me, or a new type of item to look for. So I think to be successful thrifting, you have to be curious. You can't go in there and say, I'm only looking for this, I'm only looking for that. I think you have to be open-minded. You go to the bin stores, and if you can't really expect to see any certain type of thing, I imagine, any day you go in there. It's just random, right. And you got to be curious about the stuff that's around. You're going to find the Xbox, and that's a no-brainer. But, there's probably parts or random things you've looked up, and you've gone, wow, that's insane, and you just got to be curious.
Exactly. Great tip. That's a great tip. So next tip, Cary's tip number 2, how to negotiate at yard sales.
Negotiation 101. It's a battle of who cares less. Never try not to be attached to your items. Don't care if you get it or don't. That's how you win every negotiate. You never lose a negotiation if you don't care. It's the truth. You go, okay, they're like, it's $100. Your bottom line is 50. You're not going to 60. You're not going to 70. If they don't want to do 50, or whatever your number is, and that way you never lose because you don't overpay and you get your price or you don't. And It's hard. And I don't do it all the time because I'm like, oh, dude, I want these sports cards so bad. I love, that's my that's like where I can get suckered right there is the sports cards. I'm like overpaying a little bit because I just want them,
Nice.
So yeah, if you can try to be as unemotional as possible about it, which is pretty much impossible, and you just come in with a price and you don't budge, that's how you win. That's how you negotiate. That's how you make money at yard sales.
Nice. I know, real quick, yesterday I was at the flea market. I saw a nice baseball glove, broken in catcher's glove. And I asked the guy, hey, how much you want for this baseball glove? And I only wanted to pay $8 for it. And he said 10. And I go, would you take 5? And he's like, I'll take 12. I'm like, well, we're going the wrong way here. He's like, well, I can go the wrong way. And I'm like, well, this isn't going to happen. I'll see you later. And I just put it back because I know this guy was just not going to, he wasn't going to budge, and I wasn't going to pay $10 for it.
It's his prerogative. He doesn't, honestly, he has the same right as we do to make an offer, to not budge on an offer.
Exactly.
The thing is, like, eventually, it's all arbitrage. If you're at the flea market, you probably could get $8 and you were willing to pay it. But can you get 10 or 12? Maybe, if you're willing to sit all summer. But realistically, the smartest place to put that used baseball glove is exactly where you were planning on putting it, which was on eBay or online to flip.
Yeah.
So
it was a $50 baseball glove all day long, but I just didn't want to pay $10 for it.
Yeah, exactly. So he'll have to either wait and hope that he gets, he wasn't that far off. He probably will get it. But like a lot of these people asking, eBay prices at yard sales, that's not how life or arbitrage works.
Exactly.
You can't get the top dollar without having it in the correct location. It's just that simple. I can't, sell, like I have a physical store. I can't sell the painted furniture Don has. I can actually do it online pretty well, but I can't go, to a garage sale in front of my house and sell it as well as having it in a physical store. It's just arbitrage.
I agree. Okay. All right. Cary's tip number 3, selling sports cards.
Once again, like if you want to sell sports cards, it's labor intensive at the start. If you don't know anything about sports, like you're a sports fan, Ray, I mean, you probably will know which players play. You knew that the guy was doing well for Cleveland today.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of knowledge is how you can do well at sports cards. Fantasy sports is huge for sports cards.
Oh.
Because if you know who's hot right now and who had a big game, and then, you know, I can go to my local card shop who has $1 box or really inexpensive boxes, and they don't look through them every day. And a player has a great day on a Sunday, and you go on a Monday and you grab him before he puts them in another box. You know, you can make some money that way. But the thing is, you have to be interested in sports. I think it's almost impossible if you're not. It's probably why I suck at Pokemon and stuff. I mean, I'm not interested. I'm not interested enough to learn the nuance of it.
Well, if you ever see any, take a picture and send it to me. I can tell you if they're worth anything.
For sure. Thank you, man.
All right. So next one up and last one, Cary, and this is a really good one. And this has to do with your social media following. And I'm gonna put this out there, Cary. I think that you're going to be the first reseller to hit 1 million followers on any platform. So I think that's coming out really soon. So
I'm going as hard as I can, man. I'd never
gonna do it, dude. Don't let me down, bro.
Dude, I won't. Don't worry. I mean, I'll get to 1 million. Hopefully I'll first, but if I'm not, that doesn't matter. I don't know. Kind of. I'm competitive about it a little bit.
Yeah, you'll get there. You'll get there for sure, dude. So last tip: how to grow on social media.
Consistency is number one. That's the main reason why my YouTube is not where it probably should be. Is because I have not been consistent. But TikTok, I haven't missed a day in probably 1.5 years now. Not one day for any reason. You know, I have a backlog of videos if I don't necessarily want to film anything. But so yeah, and the same with Instagram was just being consistent and paying attention to what's happening. Like right now, I think YouTube is with shorts is going to be a land grab, a gold mine, kind of like TikTok and Reels was. This time last year, I was like at 3,000 maybe ish on Instagram, and now I'm about at 46,000. And that's awesome. Reels, dude.
Yeah,
it's the same thing I did with TikTok. It's my TikToks. You know, it's the same videos.
That's so crazy.
It's insane. But being consistent and also studying what works. You're great at that. You saw, you know, and I noticed this stuff. Like you saw that the Walmart clearance videos were doing well. What'd you start doing? Walmart clearance videos. You know,
exactly.
So yeah, I noticed what people are. You know, I don't really like the checkout. Make sure this stuff doesn't have chips on it. And you probably see I've done that video like 18 different times with different things, but those perform well and they get me followers. So it's interesting, and I'm trying to be creative with it. And be interested in the art of it. Making short form video, you know, in my case, which is the kind of social media I'm doing, it's about attention. It's about attention. You know, you're going after you get past the first 10 or 20,000 people who are interested in resell. You know, you're getting the people who are like going from a cat video to, you know, catch a vibe, and then they see you, and then are they going to stay and watch what you're talking about? You know, what's going to make them want to stay? And you got to figure that out. It's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, and the algorithm, man, it's wild.
It is, man. Once you hit it, though, dude, like you've hit it several times. Like once you hit it, you know, there's some tips I have, like with TikTok. Once you're at 1,000, if you have a video going viral for you, whether that's getting thousands of views, hundreds of views, or, you know, tens of thousands of views, go live. Live is a huge hack. Go live, and then it pushes your. I did that 19.5-hour live on TikTok and went up 12,000 followers during it.
What? You were on
19.5 hours. That's how I celebrated 500,000. I was going to do 24 hours, but then I just couldn't quite do it.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know you did that.
Yeah, and part of it was beta testing. I wanted to see what effect it would have on my account. I was curious, and it went up like 12,000 during that live, but there's been 2-hour lives where I've went up 10,000. Because I had a viral video and I went live. And a lot of times it'll last for days. So like when you have one of your videos going hundreds or millions or whatever, go on live like every night for, you know, just for like an hour if you can figure it out time wise. You know, even if you're just like, you know, like you do sometimes where I don't know if you're live on TikTok right now doing.
Yes, and there's actually 60 people watching for some reason. Yeah.
No, that's cool. Yeah, so exactly. You know, you already know about it. So.
That's crazy. Wow. That is some good info, Cary, for sure. Man, that's wild. That's a long time, Cary. I just thought of a t-shirt idea for you, Cary, because, you know, I think the whole reason I think that you're successful with reselling is your curiosity. You know, like everything you're doing is like you're curious about, and you want to like, you want to find out, do these testings and do these experiments, I think you should have a shirt that says "Curiosity Sells" or something like
Dude,
that.
that's a good, yeah, dude. That's actually
You know
really
what I
good.
mean?
I love it.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
So
I love it. I need to. I'm really messing up the merch game at this point. I'm probably leaving more money on the table than I should be, but I've got to figure out, get it started.
well, if you have any ideas, design ideas, hit me up, dude. I can draw them up for you real quick.
Okay, awesome, man. I will.
Yeah.
I may have to bug you about it.
Yeah, for sure. So, Cary, we're getting down to the nitty gritty. Thank you so much for coming on. And guys, make sure you follow Cary on all of his social media platforms. They're linked down in the description below on his link tree. So, I got 2 more questions for you, Cary. Next one up, what has been your biggest flip and your biggest bust?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, I'm not like a huge, big time flip item per item guy. I'm more like a bulk guy. So like those, I've talked about it before in my lives. People have probably heard it. Last summer I got soccer cards right at the perfect time. I got this little lot from a personal collection. I could tell because he wasn't asking that much. He actually had $15 box I bought. That was pretty good. And then a couple weeks later, he had a $12 box. And that $12 box had a bunch of Cristiano Ronaldo soccer cards, some big guys.
Nice.
And I bought them in July, I think it was. And I looked them up, and some of the cards were like $40, $50 sometimes if you're lucky. I'm like, I'll go through them when I have time, which was the smartest decision. My procrastination actually paid off big time because I'm like, I got other things to do. And, I'll get them up when I have time. And then about a month later, I was on TikTok, and one of the sports card channels I find or follow was like, oh, this Luka Modric card is going for like $300 right now. And I'm like, I have a ton of cards from that set and similar sets. And I went and looked, and I had some, and I had some others. And then come to find out, the Cristiano Ronaldo cards that might have got me 40 or 50 if I was lucky were going for like $200-300 a piece. And I had 4 of them. So I sold them in a lot that night for like $960. Now those cards are worth like $200, those 4 cards. So it was just the perfect timing.
Wow.
And sports cards is very much about timing and luck, honestly. I mean, nobody can foresee the markets 100%.
Was that when he got traded back to Man City or Man U?
I'm not sure if it was, but what it was a time when, so what happened with the sports card bubble last year is the pandemic started. People started investing in everything. I think Kobe passing away had a lot to do with it too. And people went, okay, let's invest in Luka. Let's invest in this player. They went through all the major sports, right? Like the 4 major American sports. And then they went, okay, what's next? Soccer. So they got really hardcore into soccer. And then it precipitated into Marvel cards. Probably the same reason why people are grading VHS cassettes now. They're just going to the next thing that's under. Yeah, people are grading VHS cassettes right now.
I did not know that. With what company?
IGS. I don't know who they are, but they're named IGS, and you can get a sealed cassette. The ones that are best are like iconic pop culture first releases. So yeah,
Jurassic Park, Star Wars,
exactly.
Yeah.
They're going and at this time, I don't feel like it's like the Black Diamond thing where it's just a mirage. It's legitimate. I think it's a bubble. And I think the graded stuff is here to stay, but some of it's selling for thousands upon thousands of dollars. I think it's going to end up being worth hundreds upon hundreds, the graded stuff.
Interesting.
But it's go look up IGS VHS when you have a check in. IGS VHS. Look under the solds. They're a little wild all over the place, but some of them are, it's the pop culture stuff. You find, Back to the Future, the first, Batman with Michael Keaton. You find Goonies. You find stuff that's iconic.
Nice, but it's all sealed VHS tapes.
It's all sealed. Some of the non-sealed stuff is due. And I had somebody, I think they buy for me a bit, but I put up 3 sealed, or I put up some sealed VHS and unsealed stuff, and some person bought it all from me today. Within 12 hours, I gave him a little bit of a deal. I didn't, price gouge or anything. Yeah. I made a little bit of a profit, but the market, and the last time I did it too, I sold the stuff pretty quick. So it seems like it's a bit of a hot market at this moment. It'll probably change in a month though.
The whole grading market thing I think it's gotten out of hand. I don't know if you've seen this YouTube video, Cary, about the graded video games and the company. I can't remember the name of the company. Wata. Yeah. That grades the video games, but there's something shady going on because like the owner of the graded video game is kind of buying it's something shady going on to where it's like, it's almost like, like dumping stocks and stuff like that. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
making the items the increase and price. Thrift
Yeah, there's
Beast.
a lot of that kind of shady stuff going on. There's a recent video by Auction Professor that was talking about PWCC starting their own auction website to compete with eBay.
That's what it was.
But the thing is, they're not starting it because they're innovative. They're starting it because they got kicked off of eBay.
Exactly.
Because they were shill bidding.
Mm-hmm.
I think they had that in the works for a while, and they wanted to, but they had to do their own website because they were doing, and you think they're not going to do shady stuff on their own website? I mean, come on, it's inevitable. So there's a lot of that stuff in that world, and I'm not surprised that they're I don't know if anything, it's all hearsay. I don't know what's going on, but that's what I heard.
Nice. Thrift Beast says, I just sold Jurassic Park sealed for $50 raw, paid $1.99, sold in 3 days. The hype is real right now while the train is still going. I have a sealed Episode 1 Star Wars and a sealed 1997 3-pack Star Wars just in my collection. I probably should get those graded.
Here's the funny thing. I just picked up a Phantom Menace sealed for $2, and I sold it today for $1.50. That, I know that sounds crazy, but I gave it in a deal. The problem was I thought that one was going to be worth it, and it wasn't. That's my short story. The ones that came out in the 80s, like the CBS one, this is hilarious. Back in the day,
Dustin with Bold North Flips actually picked those up not too long ago too.
Those are good. It's funny because back in the day, my mom had that CBS set sealed. She always told me it was like her one thing that she thought was going to be worth something in the future. She wasn't much of a reseller back then. And she's like, never open it. And one day I really wanted to watch it. So I opened it and I ruined it. And for years, it was like, who cares? I was right. It's worthless. And it was worthless for years.
Until now.
So like, I can't, hopefully my mom's not watching this, but
that's funny.
Sorry,
that's
Mom.
funny. Shout out to Mom. Adrian says, I'm a collector of all things movie. He sure is. He has a great collection of DVDs. So last question that I have for you, Cary, and thank you so much for coming on the pod. I know that you've been selling for a lot of years. Sounds like your mom got you into reselling. Shout out to Mom.
Yep.
So give us some tips for someone that wants to start off reselling, a new reseller, and give us some tips that can help people that have been reselling for a while. Maybe they're struggling a little bit. They've lost some momentum. They got to get back into it. Like, give some tips, man.
So I don't know who that guy was that just said he's huge into movies, right?
Yeah.
Sell what you're interested in. That's how you can stay interested in this. You want to, as time goes on, you will become more of a jack of all trades, and you could go, okay, I'm going to pick up that Revere wear or whatever on the side that you notice, but focus on what you're into. And there's money in almost everything. If you're into, makeup, if you're into clothing, if you're into sports cards, you're into toys, you're into whatever you're into, there is a market for it that's feverish if you hit the right thing. So just become an expert in something that you're interested in. And as you go along, watch videos from people like us and podcasts or whatever you're doing. And, you'll, by osmosis, by hearing it over and over again, you're going to start to go, oh, wait, was that something I heard back in the day? Maybe I should pick up this plush or pick this up. So you could still, keep, as you're learning, you'll still be making some money as you go. But I think what a lot of people do is they hear, oh, this is super popular, but they're not into it. And it gets boring and it sits in a pile because you're not into it. And there is something to be said for being excited about what you sell. I think it helps, especially when you're new. As even for me, I've been doing it 10 years and I have piles of stuff that I'm just not interested in. I got cheap enough. I know I'll make money on, but I haven't posted. So that I stick with what you enjoy. And if you're brand new, look around your house. There's probably $1,000 sitting around of stuff that you no longer use, no longer need, or no longer want. Put it up on eBay, no cost. Make that first initial money. Get that feeling of what it's like to sell on eBay, and then or wherever you decide to sell, and then take a little bit of that cash and reinvest. Go to the thrift store.
Well, there you have it, guys. Tips by Cary. Thank you so much, Cary, for coming on. Man. This is awesome. We definitely need to have you back.
It was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, man. Time flew by, man. Great information. So again, guys, if you don't know Cary, Americanarbitrage, the link to all of his socials is down in the description below. Follow him on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatnot. What else you got? Facebook,
Pinterest, Snapchat. Like I said, I'm curious. I'm trying everything. I'll see what sticks.
Nice. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Cary, again. And that concludes this episode of the podcast. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and leave a 5-star review like always. And my name is Ray.
Oh, I'm Kerry.
Sorry, Cary.
It's all right, dude.
And we'll catch you on the flip side. See y'all. Peace and God bless.
Take care, guys.